Welcome to Chat the Chief today. It is just me and Steve. Katie is off, so we're going to give this a whirl, just us two. All right, man. Hey, I know that everybody has talked about the Cracker Barrel blow up over the last couple of weeks, and so this may be old, but I just can't help myself. I kind of want to weigh in here too, because what they did and how they just totally missed this branding moment for them.
It was brutal. It was wild. And
it is such
Trump got involved.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that on my phone 2 days ago. When Donald Trump decides to weigh in on your branding misstep, that's a bad day.
Well, it was actually funny because we were all texting about it. And then as we were texting about it, someone hit like, "Oh, Trump just weighed in." We're like, "He did?" Like, what is going on?
Yeah, so I think...
But Cracker Barrel.
So I think did you grow up because you grew up in Michigan? You guys had more Bob Evans up there, right?
No, but so Cracker Barrel. If you're from Michigan, I think Cracker Barrel has a big place in your upbringing.
Okay, because ours too. We drove anywhere, we would stop at Cracker Barrel.
Well, no, Michigan, you're I-75 driving south.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because if you're my parents, we were driving to Florida because that's a good idea. So you're just like crushing Cracker Barrel along the way.
How often did you play the little golf tee game?
I mean,
yes.
And
I could never get it to just one tee left.
It's a game of character.
Yeah.
Because like you got there's a lot, like my brother, I'd be like, you just jumped over the other one. Like,
it was such a treat. They give you like the syrup on the pancakes, like in the little bottle,
And I would eat chicken fried steak at like 9 a.m.
Yeah. But what Cracker Barrel had was part of their branding was on nostalgia.
Correct.
And that's this, like, you and I both love the show Mad Men. There's this iconic scene. It's the season finale of the first half of season 1, where Don Draper gets into this whole thing. We can post the video in the show where he's describing the sort of old timey. It would look like a photo wheel that people would like use to do slideshows, and this was Kodak, and Kodak was coming in, and Don Draper's firm was trying to win the business, and he takes through this epic monologue that you guys should watch, and he says it's not a wheel, it's a carousel. And that's sort of maybe how that came about, but he talks about what you really should try to capture is nostalgia. Mm-hmm. It's delicate, but it's potent, and that's what Cracker Barrel had. Is they had this I've been to an old timey store, I guess maybe once or twice, but I don't really remember. But you walk in there and it is like you're stepping back into the past, and there's something about the past that we just romanticize, I think, that we like, and it was a slower time, and it was cool, and it was, wow, this is like this is what it was like in the old days, and you could go in and mess around in the store, and then when you sit down, that just carried all the way through, this feeling like you walk back in time there. And as you said, something about hitting it on a road trip as a kid also just like burns that into your brain. And so they had this amazing thing that any other restaurant or brand in particular would give their right arm for, which is this huge connection to nostalgia that their people feel. And in one marketing move, they just wadded that thing up and threw it away like it was a piece of trash. And I'm sure it was brought in by some, know-nothing New York-based marketing firm that was like, you've got to update things. And I saw
AI is coming, Cracker Barrel. Yeah. You got to get on board.
Yeah, and I saw it because I definitely went deep on this. The CEO, I think her name was Julie. She was like, she was like, look, our sales are sort of, they weren't declining, but they were stagnating kind of. I think they only grew like 2% last year. So she's trying to breathe new life in the brand, which I get that. But you don't throw away like the one, like your haymaker.
Right.
You do work in the kitchen. Maybe you do work in like the people that you're hiring to like make sure the service is there. But you don't throw the brand away, which is what they did.
So it's kind of funny, the Mad Men thing you talked about, right before Don Draper says it's a carousel. The ideas in the room were very modern, future-y, science-y. Like, do you remember what some of those were?
Of course.
It was like, so they were taking it like, oh, this is good, this is the future. And then he's like, hold on, like, it's a carousel.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Well, they were trying to tie it to technology.
They were trying to technology.
They were like,
exactly.
They were like, this is an advanced piece of technology that people will love, and because it's cool, because it's technology.
Yep.
And he was like, you're missing the point.
And so that's the same thing. That's the same thing that we just saw with Cracker Barrel, is they were like, no, this is what you got to do. Because the CEO, if you just look at her LinkedIn, she's like born and bred in the restaurant, Yum Brands, Sprinkle Cup, Starbucks.
She was president of Taco Bell International.
Yeah.
She
was
really
CEO
cut her
of
teeth at Starbucks.
Sprinkles Cupcake.
Yeah, yeah,
right, exactly.
yeah.
So she's like, no, here we go. This is what the world tells you need to do. You need a sharp brand. You need this. You probably need the interactive menu thing where you can. I do like the ability to just tip somebody quick and be out of there. But anyway.
I don't like that.
I do.
I don't. I still, no. Really?
Because
touching this thing that like 100 other million people have touched
there's a germ
once
aspect.
they like lick their fingers from the chicken fried steak.
But just the ability to be
Gross.
out of there. Because like, okay, I got to wait for you to bring me the check. Okay, now I have the check. Now I got to wait for you to come back. Then I have to, it's nice, like boom, 20%. Thank you so much. I will see you later. Anyway,
okay.
But you shouldn't do that at Cracker Barrel, right? Because what you were just saying, a lot of companies have to build a brand. They have to spend the money to build a brand. And they have to create it and whatever. Cracker Barrel already had one.
Yeah.
They had one.
Yeah.
And that brand is connected to nostalgia and memories. And my dad and I going to Tennessee and just crushing chicken fried steak and laughing because of the stupid things we bought in the store.
Yes. All the saltwater taffy. I mean, I hate saltwater taffy. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, but you eat it when you're there.
Why do I eat it there?
You eat it when you're there. Because it's bright colored. That's why. But yeah, Bert, it actually is super interesting because most companies today do what they think they should do because they see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
It's super hard to be convicted about who you are and to keep living into it. And I don't know, something interesting just happened though, because the whole world kind of like shook their finger at that and said, that's actually not okay.
Yes. Yeah, well said. And that's the tension I think you live under as a CEO or any business leader, which is, okay, I got to run a successful business, which means I need to run down some well-worn paths here that other people have done. But you if you want to stand out and really be great, you can't just completely be like everybody else, or you're going to be unoriginal, not unique, and people aren't going to care. Like, they're just never going to care. Like, I mean, Steve Jobs is probably the quintessential of that, where it's like we're going to in their brand statement was think different. We will think different. All the way down to like, what a silly name, Apple. Like, I was thinking actually about that yesterday on my run. Like, I don't know do you know the backstory on that? How did they come up with the name Apple? Like, and I would love to know, I'm sure he came up with it, but what was that? How was that received by his partners when he was like, okay, guys, here's the name, Apple Computers. They were like, Apple? Like, he could have gone with banana. He could have gone with, and that would sound ridiculous, but he thought different. This is going to stand out. This will be memorable. Yeah, we're gonna do it this way. And that is, you're right. That is the trick, is how do you...
It's perfection though.
Yeah, it's total. I mean, I can think of no other name for this. I mean, this is a perfect name. But yeah, you've got to take in, you've got to learn, you've got to be curious. You can't be so arrogant to think that you know it all, because you will definitely lose your way. But you do have to know who you are enough to say, okay, thank you, but that's what everybody else is doing. We're going to do it. We're going to do it in a different way. And the problem is, most people, especially most consultants that you hire, will not tell you that. They will be like, well, this is what your competitors are doing. This is what the industry is doing. You should probably do it this way too.
Yeah, let's talk. I actually want to talk about that, because you do a good job of that. Like, I tend to be like, what did the smart consultants say? Let me think about that pretty hard. You do a good job of thinking different. And I've seen you do it sometimes, and I'm like, man, I would not have made that move. How do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It is probably, I mean, I think with how you start to get views and opinions as part of your upbringing. My mom was like always the queen of like, you can do it. You can do that. She always said they put their pants on one leg at a time too. And if you think about it, they do put their pants on one leg at a time. You know what they also do? Pick their nose in the car, probably. You know what they also do? A lot of other gross things that I also do. So like, there are just people, and it doesn't mean that they're just like, they're not some like wizard or have some special talent that I can never have. They probably they may have a head start, you know. They may have more experience that has shaped their views and their opinions, but opinions they still are. And so I don't know. It helped having parents that were both like, hey, you can do whatever you want. You can grow to be whoever you want to. Don't let anybody tell you cannot do something. And I think it also helps, like, I mean, I've talked about this. I grew up, with really somewhat crippling OCD and a stutter. And whenever you have a stutter, I mean, it was like I couldn't, I forget if I told the story.
Until what age?
Well, if you hear it closely, it'll come out every once in a while when I get really excited. But bad until probably 8th grade, 9th grade. One Christmas season, me and my brother had to sell wreaths door to door for like the Cub Scouts, and I was probably 3rd grade and he was 2nd grade. It's funny now, I would never let my 3rd grader go run off into a neighborhood with kidnappers everywhere.
Talk about nostalgia.
Yeah, but we were selling like wrapping paper Christmas trees, and every time the door would open up, the old person would go to the door, and I'd go to talk, and I just couldn't. I was so nervous, and my stutter was taking over. I couldn't even get the words out, and I would just like be frozen. It was one of those stutters where you can't speak.
Yeah.
And they'd look at my little, and they'd look at my little brother like, "Well, what's going on?" And he'd be like, "I don't know. I'm just tagging along, right?"
Yeah.
But I think when you have something like that, it makes you special in a way. Not to say like better, but special in that. Oh, I know what it means to be different. I know what it means to not be, not have this like perfect way of speaking all the time. I've got a bit more empathy for others. I can sort of see the world in a different way. I know that there's multiple ways to attack a problem. I had to do it sort of this long way, and I still got there. And so that helps to show you that, yeah, there are a lot of other things are possible when you have some type of special thing like that. And I think a lot of people actually have that, and it's just a matter of, am I gonna view this as a just straight disability that's gonna put me in the ditch, or am I gonna use this as a way that can shape my thinking and my decision making?
Because what you're saying is it's like owning who you are.
Yeah.
Sort of like Cracker Barrel didn't do.
Yeah.
Like just owning who you are, living into it, and using it as a superpower.
I mean, the new logo they had for me, because they've already gone back now.
Yeah,
and it was like, this didn't happen. But the new one is so vapid. It's just like a yellow blob that kind of looks like a barrel that just says Cracker Barrel. Like it looks like Bob Evans. No offense to Bob Evans. It looks like Denny's. No offense to Denny's. It looks like any other silly, stupid, just void of any meaning food restaurant brand.
It's very like Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah,
it's like Holiday Inn Express.
Well, the old one had a picture of a dude in a rocking chair with his elbow on a barrel. Like that's pretty cool. That's pretty different. Like you don't see anything like that. Uncle Herschel, maybe.
Uncle Herschel, yeah.
I don't know his backstory, but I'm sure he's a great guy. But like that's different, and that's cool, and that's unique, and that's iconic. And to just take that and throw it away is such a mess. Such a mess.
So as CEO, how do you think about brand and its importance on your growth, your evolution, your results?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, how I think about brand is to think about to think about your values. I think brand is about values, and it communicates, your brand should communicate what your values are, what you're all about, and it's got to say that succinctly, specifically, and because it's just it's a noisy, busy world out there, and people aren't going to slow down to try to care about who you are or what you're all about unless you make it really simple for them.
Yeah, we just had this conference in San Diego, Legacy, and there was a T-shirt that's actually really meaningful to us. It's a Dolly Parton T-shirt, and on the front, it's a very beautiful picture of Dolly Parton. On the back, it says, "Find out who you are and do it on purpose."
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is critical. And what Cracker Barrel was trying to do is just whatever they were trying to look the way that they're supposed to look instead of being who they are and doing it on purpose.
And that's the thing. If you're going to step out and have different results than your peer set, right? Yeah. Whether your peer set is staffing professional services like us, or whether it's, fast dining, you're like that peer set is going to ebb and flow with the market. Right. And so if you're going to step out and have better results, let's say, you got to be not afraid to do some different stuff and some stuff that people are going to be like, whoa, I don't know, man. That's not what other people do. No, you're exactly right. They don't do it. And that's why they're all lumped together in this one sort of market here. And so you got to be willing to take some risks with the things that you invest in, with your strategic bets, with what your brand is trying to communicate. And the problem is, you can fail. You can really fail. You can take your strategic bets and they cannot work out and you can fail. But there's sort of no other way to do it if you want to stand out and be the best and be really unique in that way.
You've done that a lot, though. How many times have you failed? Like, you've done that a lot.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the word failure is like so. I don't really even like it. It's so like heavy and final. I just think like I would say I've corrected things. You can make a lot of strategic bets.
Yeah.
And you can just correct them over time. Yeah. Some you may just need to totally kill, but even the ones that you kill that are not working, you really learn a lot from those. Oh my, you learn so much from that. So I think with most decisions, I had this term you probably heard me say it, I think you can make them the right decision even after you make them.
Right.
If you're close enough to the work, if you're close enough to what's happening on the ground, you can make the decision and it can be a scary one, but you can make it the right decision with what you do afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to find out who you are and do it on purpose, I think, because I think the more you make the decision based on who you are and what you are and your authentic story, the more likely you are not to fail.
Yeah.
It's when we're trying to be somebody else or we're trying to do something else that we have a higher likelihood. And then like if you're obsessive and you're staying close to the work and you're seeing how it might not be exactly where it needs to go, you can always correct.
Yeah. Well, that you said something there too, just again, back to the sort of Dolly quote, find out who you are and do it on purpose. When you know that, I think you're more freed up to make those big bets. So for instance, my identity is not as that of CEO. Mm-hmm. And so since my identity isn't a CEO, it's more of a as a Christ follower and a father and a husband and these other things. Mm-hmm. I want to be the best CEO, but since that's not my real identity, I can like make a decision that maybe seems scary. And if it's wrong, I'm like, oh well, like it's fine. We'll just move on. It's, the sun will still come up tomorrow. Work will still be here. It's not the end of the world because my identity is not tied to that decision.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're a lot more freed up to play loose and to make more of the right decisions when they are in some ways a little riskier.
Because they're yours, and it's who you are.
Yeah.
How do you think about bringing the brand of the company to life in the organization, or taking the culture of the organization and making sure it's represented in the brand?
Ask that question again.
How do you think about the connection between those two? Because ideally, like you said, if the brand is about the values of the company, mm-hmm. well, then how do you think about just making sure those things kind of stay aligned? Because it's culture and brand and culture and brand. How do you just keep those nestled tightly together so that we don't lose too much on either end?
I think it's, and hopefully I'm answering your question right,
Yep.
It's just taking really good care of your people and making sure your people are set up to succeed at all times. And if your people are set up to succeed and you're really clear at all times with here's what the values are of the company, here's what it means to be successful, it's embodying these values, which is the brand, then as they get successful, your brand gets successful. And so they're just tied together.
I love it. And I think also it's so critical that you're just not forming a brand that's purely like, this is what we need to do in the market, mm-hmm. but you are doing just what you did as a young kid with a stutter, just leaning into who you are. Mm-hmm. Like we had, can we talk about Glenn?
Yeah.
We had Glenn, the founder of Insight Global, come to this conference, and there was just something that hit me because I read in a book a long time ago that the culture of a company gets created one time.
Oh, interesting. Like what book was that?
It's Ed Shine.
Okay.
But the culture of a company gets created one time, and it's like a big block of marble.
Wow.
And it can become slightly different versions of that culture, but like the founder and the founder's inner circle, that culture gets created one time, and then it's kind of there.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Right. And then, you can iterate on it. You can change things, but some of the core fundamentals are there. So we had Glenn come and we got to like just jump into a nostalgia time machine and just relive our roots, mm-hmm. our pegboard game and our chicken fried steak. And I don't know about you, but it like filled me up.
Oh, it was super fun.
With all the nostalgia.
Super fun.
But yeah, I think that the key is not to just go brand wise, we need to beat this competitor. And so let's do this fancy thing and whatever. Like, no, it's like, you have to lean into who you are. And that's actually what happened at that conference. Like we were listening to Glenn talk and I was like, damn, that is who we are. And we still are. And it's a big reason why we're successful today. Right.
Yeah. 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 I mean, there was so much of the company that he put into practice that is still here today. I mean, like, like, a lot of people are, I mean, and he's even said, he's like, man, you guys are a kinder company today with the shared values and all that stuff. But I'll tell him, no, I don't, that's yes and no. Like there's things that he was always the first to he really helped me think different on a lot of things. I remember it was like, oh, this salesperson was really struggling. They just had this huge account, just roll all their contractors off, their commissions wiped out. And he was the first guy that was like, okay, well, let's lean in there and take care of them temporarily until they are able to kind of rebuild back, their pipeline of business. We take care of each other. We didn't call it that at the time, but that's what that is. And he, really sort of ingrained that in all of us. And, that I think at where we are now, we've just maybe more sort of brought those things to life, put a spotlight on them and said, no, this is who we are going to be. Whereas it maybe wasn't quite so clear back then. Maybe it was even hidden.
High character and hard work.
That's always been here.
Leadership is here to serve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We promote from within. Yeah.
100%. I actually remember having conversations with you, Bert, early on where same thing. Like I would be like bringing a problem to you or whatever. You're like, you should do? You should take care of that person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's wild.
Okay, let's talk about so Cracker Barrel, we've dumped on them. Too bad. Hopefully they're going to be just fine coming out of this.
They're going to be better than ever, by the way.
And hopefully this is
like the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want to go to one this week.
You know how many people are going to Cracker Barrel this week? Yeah. By the way, weird enough, like I'm from Michigan, I'm from the north. I drive by a Cracker Barrel every single day on my way to work, and it freaks me out. Because I'm like northerner, like I should be, and every time I'm like, man, that's so weird. I live near a Cracker Barrel now.
Okay, so what other companies do you feel like have captured branding well, specifically around maybe nostalgia? Let's say.
Man, that's such a good question. I did learn a really fun fact about this, by the way, about why companies rebrand about every 30 years.
Why?
Because what they're doing is they're looking at the population of people who have the biggest swath of people who would be their potential buyers, and then they're rebranding back to that generation's youth.
Yeah, wow.
Like, so the rebrands that look and feel modern are actually just us stepping 30 years back to that consumer and what they cared about when they were young.
Whoa.
Like that is the power of nostalgia.
Who's done that? Do you know?
Pepsi, Coca-Cola that's what drives Coca-Cola.
Whoa.
McDonald's. Like it's like taking that. Okay, where do I have the most buyers for my product, and how do I go back to when they were formative years or whatever?
What's going to happen?
Stranger Things was a really good example of that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Stranger Things slapped because when I watched it, I was like, "This is such a good show," and I'm like halfway through, I'm like, "Oh, I'm 5 in this show."
Yeah.
Like, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because the cupboards in that kitchen are like I
mine.
know those cupboards.
Yeah. It's funny. I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but all my friends did.
Exactly.
And our kitchen looked like that one. And I was scared to death of the high school seniors and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Reverse Uno. I know you have somebody. Who do you got? Brands that are nostalgic that you love.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. That's really hard. I think. I do think brands that have stood the test. I think Nike is maybe the best. Nike has stood the test of time. Nike has done a good job of. If you look at, I'm wearing them now. They're the Kill Shot 2s. They brought back their shoes from the 80s and 90s, and they still look great. And I don't know. Somehow Nike is like also. They seem to cost the same still. I remember my dad being like, I can't believe we're paying $100 for a pair of Nikes. And I think I paid $90 for these. I don't even know. But yeah, I think Nike has done a really good job of trying to, I don't know. I'm excited for their new CEO. I think they lost their way a little bit, maybe with being a little bit too much to too many groups, let's say. And
the Willem Dafoe ad.
Yeah, the Willem Dafoe ad, which was another good one, which is like, what was the whole premise was like,
I'm a monster.
I'm so great, and that sort of thing. But which was like, it kind of is like, okay, I get that, but are you being arrogant there? I'm not so sure. They had a really good ad a few years before that, which is this. It's this kid. It's this ad. We'll also put this in the show notes. It's this kid jogging, and it's from a long way off, and he's on this road, and he's a heavy set kid, and he's jogging. And by the way, I know how hard it is for me to run still, and I run every day. And every time I do it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm kind of out of breath. Whenever I see people that don't have the same body type as me or heavy set running, I'm always like, you rock, you're awesome, because this is hard for me. I can't imagine what's for you. And in this Nike ad, there's this bigger kid, he's running, and you can tell he's struggling. But there's this talk track over it that's like talking about, how you can sort of accomplish anything. If you set your mind to it, you can do it. And at the very end, this kid gets right up on you in the shot and it says, find your greatness. It's sort of talking about what is greatness. And that that's badass. That is what I think about when I think about Nike is find your greatness. We can make great products that help you with that. And they've done that since I was a kid.
Even Jordan shoes. You want to talk about nostalgia. Like there's certain Jordan shoes where I remember wanting that shoe as a kid so badly. I remember who in school had it, who didn't. I remember the magazine East Bay that I would carry on my backpack.
Well, that's a good example. Why in the world are shoes that we bought in the 80s or wanted to buy in the 80s still so popular today, and you see in corporate boardrooms? Like that is Nike just laying on the nostalgia lever. Right?
Like 6 months ago, I remember being out in a restaurant in Atlanta, and I looked around, and I was like, "There's like 20 pairs of Jordan 1s."
Yeah.
In this restaurant right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like all different colorways, all different things. It's because people are connecting themselves to those moments, and it means something.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new CEO there. He's a former sales guy, which I just love that he came from sales. He knows the business super well. I think he spent like 30 years at Nike.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see them turn things around. What do you think about Starbucks as we're talking about CEOs? So Howard Schultz, iconic, amazing. I mean, one of the best CEOs of all time. Gets you to pay $4 for a cup of coffee, and you're like, "Yep, what's the big deal?"
It's like six now. By the way, 6 is the new 4.
Yeah. But if you think about
that,
Starbucks, what they did, what they got you to do with coffee is insane.
Experience economy, creating an experience around a commoditized product.
And then they had a CEO that I don't know exactly why the other guy failed, but I know that Starbucks has started again. Maybe they were trying to producing too many drinks,
too much food.
They kind of became a victim of their own success with that mobile app because it took the eye off the person that just wanted to be in the store and have that kind of experience, this sort of third place
100%.
thing. Stores didn't quite. These poor baristas are overloaded. They don't have time to always clean up the stores, and so that experience isn't so good. Brian Nickel, who's there now, who's the Chipotle guy. I'm excited to see what he does, and I will tell you, Starbucks. When I go to Starbucks now, it does feel different.
It does,
and they're all wearing this sort of black T-shirt with the green apron, which he wanted them to do, which I'm sure not every barista love, but it is kind of cool. And it's like, okay, well, your eye is starting to get used to seeing. That's what I'm getting at Starbucks now. Is that's the sort of look that I'm getting is starting to be more consistent. And so the stores are cleaner. And also, I'd say I love them writing notes on the coffee cup.
Yeah, I got to make it
I grew
a
up
great
with
day.
that in high school and college, them writing my name on it.
Yeah.
They got away from it with this, again,
the sticker,
kind of nasty sticker they put on it that had my name spelled wrong every time. And it's funny when my name is spelled wrong and it's written in Sharpie. I don't care. But when it's spelled wrong in print, I'm like from a computer. I'm like I don't like that.
It feels terrible.
But I like how he's getting them to do that, and I just think it's cool. Like my Starbucks in Roswell, that's a million miles away from their headquarters in Seattle. To see their people, their baristas, okay, wearing the uniform that you want me to wear, writing the messages on the cup again, keeping the store. That's kind of cool. And it's he's been at this for 6 months. I think that the results are still not quite there yet because he's trying to turn this whole battleship. But I'm excited to see them do it.
That's the question everybody needs to be asking right now. Is what are you doing in your business where you're printing a label on the cup? Because everybody's telling you should, because it creates efficiency, and it's what everybody's doing. What are you doing where you're listening to what you should do instead of just being you and writing, make it a great day on that cup? Because I got one of those, and I felt something.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, make it a great day. That's something my grandfather used to say to me.
Also, kind of a lot of words you just wrote on this cup for me, Yeah.
Hell yeah. And actually looked at the guy and I was like, I like that dude. That was cool. And you're just like, okay, I just felt something. I'll probably come back.
Exactly.
Yep.
Steve, that's all we got today, I think.
Don't be Cracker Barrel. Oh, can I just do a fun tip of the week?
Yeah, sure.
Since we talked about Don Draper. Don Draper, I've been rewatching Mad Men actually. And he said something in the 3rd episode that is gold and everybody needs to know.
Okay, please.
I just want the world to know.
Please share.
So Don Draper is lauded for being this creative genius who just always knows how to say, it's not a wheel, it's a carousel.
Yeah.
So he gives a tip that is crucial. He goes, here's how you do it. Think about what you want to create deeply. Think about it. Then forget about it in every way and just leave it behind and then wait. So
explain more what that means.
So I was writing a speech for this conference that we went to. And I was watching Mad Men. And I didn't like my clothes. You know, I was like, this close feels very just like corporate-y, kind of the whole message of this podcast, like what you should say.
Yeah.
And then I was like watching Don Draper, and he said, think about what you want to create deeply, let it behind you, and then wait. And I did that. I was like, okay, what would be some options, whatever. And then I was like, all right, I'm just going to leave it behind and not think about it. And then I was walking through the hallway downstairs, and then bang, like the close
Your
to my
outfit
speech
came up, yeah.
was just given to me.
That's cool.
And I think I teared up. I was like, whoa, like what just happened? Like, cause anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to give that to people who are listening to this podcast. If you made it to this point, you've earned this tip. Like if you're trying to solve a problem, if you have something that's on your mind, like think your ass off about what it might be, and then just like forget about it and leave it alone, and then just wait for the universe to find you.
And your brain will tell you what it really should be.
And if you're finding out who you are and doing it on purpose,
that's it.
It's gonna happen.
Okay, we doing the chief
Okay, let's
questions?
do it. Let's chat the chief. Where are the questions?
Oh, thank you, Charlotte.
All right. Katie's not here, so I'm just gonna kind of do it my way.
Okay,
Katie
let's
gets.
do it.
We're gonna go speed round.
Okay.
Let's go fast, and
okay.
I'm not gonna
Try to
hold
be
back.
fast.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Beach or mountains?
Beach or mountains?
Yeah, beach or mountains. Which ones do you like more?
Oh, mountains.
That's the easiest one. Okay,
Yeah.
warm up. Favorite band?
Favorite band of all time would be, I may change it because I like individual singers, but if I had to go favorite band of all time, Chili Peppers.
Oh wow, I did not know that. I thought it would
Or
have been
Metallica.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, favorite
Singer of all time would be George Strait.
favorite brand.
Favorite brand has got to, I would have said Patagonia just a year ago, but Viore is like,
Great
it's like
brand.
all I'm wearing now.
It's
is
comfy.
Viore.
It's comfy.
great.
It's
I
modern.
don't wear it
good.
for all the performance stuff. That's still Patagonia for me, or Nike, or Solomon.
By the way, great strategy for that on them. They said we're going to make a higher quality product for a lower price. Come at us.
Yeah,
so, good
dude,
stuff.
it is, their stuff is similar. I still like their stuff, but I'm wearing a lot of Viore now.
Love it. Last podcast you listened to?
Last podcast let's do was today, and it was one that Jocko Willink. I don't ever really listen to his stuff. I read Extreme Ownership, his book, but he had a guy on he was a Delta Force guy from the event that happened called Blackhawk Down in October 1993. There was this character in the book and in the movie. I thought that guy, and he's like one of the main Delta operators. I thought he was like kind of not a real person. You know, I thought he was sort of made up for the movie. He is a real person, and he interviewed him on the show. And it's amazing.
I forget. He's one of the OG original podcasters.
I think
his
so,
podcast
yeah.
was so good. Like
Yeah.
2018, 2017.
Really, I have never listened to it before.
Oh, he would just
I
let it
really
rip. Like he'd always
Yeah.
like end with this monologue that make you want to just like deadlift. I
Yeah.
got on deadlift. Okay, if you could trade jobs with anyone in the company for one day, who would it be?
Oh man, I would say. Oh gosh, what a good question, dude. That's a soul searcher. I would say sales manager, San Francisco. Because like San Francisco's it's a cool city. Like that's a fun vibe in there right now in our San Francisco office. It's like there's so much success happening. I love being like in the thick of it, on the front lines. If not that, I would say Pro Recruiter in Boston. Boston's another cool city. It's a fun market, a fun team. I just like working in the pit. Like I was in Seattle this week, seeing some big customers, and in between meetings, I would just go back and I would just sit like in the pit, like at a desk next to two pros in Seattle, actually, Matthew and Lauren, shout out. And I just love it because you kind of like, you get all the office gossip.
Yeah, you get the tea.
You get the
Pros
tea.
know the tea.
It's just it's the most fun.
Yeah, you get to work.
Yeah.
I got to see the entire New Jersey team at this conference, and we took a picture together. And then I don't know how it happened, but I just did like a P-zone speech, like a speech like I would do, because I kind of just gave a speech every day. Talking about nostalgia, that felt so good.
Yeah.
Just to be with the team.
Yeah.
My answer would also be sales manager. Do you know what Labubu is?
Is that the thing you pull out of the box? Is that like the stuffed animal that they're selling in boxes?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know what
I'm
that
not
is.
sure what that
A
is.
Labubu. That's the best I got.
Okay. Do your kids think it's cool or cringe that you're a CEO?
They think it's cool that I'm very cool. I'm a CEO. They think everything I do though
is
cringe. Like, I don't even think I've told them I run the podcast. I do this podcast because they'd be like, you can't do that. That is so cringe. So that's it.
Okay, last one. We just went to this legacy conference where we talked about each legacy. If there was like one word you had that you wanted to be the legacy of, and it could be a phrase, but like if there was one thing where you want to be like, put it on my tombstone, that's Bert's legacy, what would it be?
He encouraged others.
Do a good job of that.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
All right,
see you guys next
thanks.
time.
See you next time.